In this episode of With a Little Help from Max for Life, we're going to look at 6 Max for Life devices that are free and that came out fairly recently. And most of them have a relatively small feature set, but they can be all very useful for different purposes. The first one is Drift Mapper by Rivanni. So when we look at drift in mapping mode, so I'm gonna do Command, or if you're on Windows, Control and M, we can go into the MIDI mapping mode, and you can see everything that is blue is mappable and everything that isn't is not mappable. And so you can see here the oscillator one shape modulation source can't be mapped. The same is the case for the pitch modulation options here, the frequency modulation sources. And we also have here the LFO modulation, as well as here both the modulation sources and targets. And then we also have the voice mode, the number of voices, and the pitch bend range that are not mappable. And if you want to have this mappable because maybe you're using this in a live performance, or you just want to be able to kind of change certain modulation sources or targets, or maybe the pitch bend range on the fly in music production, then Drift Mapper is what helps you, and I've already got that here. And you can see that it actually has all the options available. So basically all the drop-down menus plus the pitch bend range that are not mappable natively in Drift. And so for example, here, if I change something, let's say I'm changing the voice mode, you can see it here, it's stereo. I'm going to set it here to poly, and you can see it reacts. In case it doesn't work out of the box, you can click on here to basically relink to the drift, and the device has to be added to the right of the drift preset that you would want to control with it. And so we can just try this out. Let's maybe have a listen. I'm just going to change this to unison. And you can hear it works. That alone can change the sound quite dramatically. Or for example, what can we try? Maybe let's have a look that we change the oscillator one shape modulation source. Maybe to slide. Or to LFO. And you can hear that just changing one modulation source can make a huge difference. So this can be really helpful, I think, particularly in live performance. Just to showcase that, you can see here, if I go into the MIDI mapping mode again, that these are all mappable. So they're most useful if mapped to a continuous control, so an encoder or something like that, or a fader. Number 2 is Group Rack Switch by Proofeek. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And that one, as the name suggests, lets you automatically switch all the racks within a group off or on at the same time. So you can save a lot of resources that way. Most likely that will be most useful in a live performance context again. But of course, if you have a lot of racks, whether that's audio effect racks, MIDI effect racks, or instrument racks within one part of your music production, you could turn that off once that section has passed, so you can free resources for maybe CPU hungry plugins or whatever. This Max for Life audio effect does not work with drum racks, so only audio effect racks, MIDI effect racks, or instrument racks, and all of the racks within the group. And the way it works, you just have to turn the button on or off for the device itself, so that all other devices that are audio effect racks, MIDI effect racks, or instrument racks within the group tracks are turned off or on automatically. So when we go into the first track here, you can see I've got a MIDI effect rack, an instrument rack, and an audio effect rack in the track, and you see they're all turned off. And here you can see in the other tracks that we have more instrument racks and they're all turned off as well. And when I go back to the group track, turn the device on again, you can see they're all turned back on as well. Number 3 is Randomizer by LiveWorkflowTools, and that, at least currently, is my absolute favorite of these devices because it actually allows you to randomize all the parameters in Live's MIDI instruments and audio effects. It does not work with MIDI effects because the device has to be added to the right of the device that is supposed to be randomized, and that is not possible with MIDI effects because it is an audio effect. So I've already added it to the right of drift here. You can see it's recognizing drift. And then we've got this button here, and we can just simply click it to change the parameters randomly. So I can just play some notes. This is just a default preset of drift, so I'm gonna randomize it now. So you can see you can easily get new ideas for presets this way by simply clicking on the button. And here you can see that it has a range that you can set for how far the parameters can be changed. And that is by default set to 25%, and the max is plus minus 100%, and the minimum is plus minus 1%. So you might have heard this already. You can see it as well here that the volume was randomized as well. And now we're at minus 13 dB and it's really quiet, and I might not want to randomize that. And you can actually set this as well. So you can unfold this and you can see by default there are certain parameters that are already turned off. So they're not randomized, like device on, anything that's kind of on off things. You can see here things like transpose are always included in that as well. But for some reason, volume is not. But I can just click on it to turn it off as well. It works the same way if I want to turn it back on again. And so you can decide what parameters you want randomized and which ones you don't. And this works with all the other instruments as well. So I can just add analog here. You can see it's automatically recognized as well. I'm just going to play it. Or wavetable. Or meld. And so on and so forth. And it also works with audio effects. So I've got a drum clip here. So it works the same. We can try others as well. Like say maybe Ableton tremolo. We have to, of course, make sure that it's to the left of the randomizer effect. And it even works with Max for Live audio effects, like say pitch loop 89. I'm gonna add that in front here again and get rid of this. You can see it's recognized as well. And that also means that it works for Max for Live instruments. Number 4 is MIDIPrint by Warf. And that is basically like bounce to a new track with MIDI. So if you have a MIDI clip like I do, for example, with chords, and you've got an arpeggiator on the track and you want to actually record the output of the arpeggiator, normally you would have to, create a new track, arm the track, do the routing, and then record it. And when you press this print button on the play activated clip in session view, it does it automatically. So I'm just going to quickly play it. And then you can just press print. And it has recorded the MIDI output, including the output from the arpeggiator. And you could also see that it automatically armed the track, it even set monitoring trim and set the MIDI from to the first MIDI track. And I can just delete this again to show you here the turbo option. So you could see that it was happening in real time. If you turn on turbo, it's a little bit faster. So, and now you've got the same output as well from the arpeggiator. Definitely a great time saver. Number 5 is Tempo Drop by EduardFeist. Very simple device, quite effective though, because you can simply let it automate a tempo drop or increase if you want as well. And so here you've got the drop tempo setting, so the BPM that you want to reach. Right now I've got 80 BPM here in this live set. Let's just take it like this. You also have attack and release. We're going to look at that. And I'm just going to start playing and then press drop so that the tempo is decreased. Okay, so you can see it works. If I continue playback and then click on drop here again, it takes it back to the original tempo. And the time it takes to reach the set tempo in the device is determined by the attack parameter. So right now it's set to 500 milliseconds, but we could also set it to the maximum of 3 seconds so that it's easy to hear. And release determines the time it takes from the dropped tempo, so in this case 20 BPM, back to the 80 BPM. And that goes up to 3 seconds as well. So let's just start playback again. Click drop. And we're going back. Simple yet very effective. And last but not least, we have Variation Transition by Maboroshy, which is based on Smooth Automator by KB Devices that I have actually made a video about in the past. And that is a Max for Live MIDI effect that allows you to transition between different macro variations, which is very cool. There's also an audio effect version available so that you can use it for audio effect racks. So it works basically with any type of rack this way, as long as there are macro variations saved. And so here we've got the device. It has to be added to the left of the rack that you want to transition between variations. And then you can see it's recognizing that it has 5 variations here in the rack. And you can either use this dial to dial between different variations, or you can use this. So I could just type in 2 here as well. Let me just play that back. And you could see and hear that it's smoothly transitioned to the second macro variation. And we could also use the dial This one allows you to turn off the auto transitions when you basically toggle that, so you could launch it whenever you are ready, or you can have it auto transition depending on the settings below here whenever you change the number of the transition. Here we've got the launch quantization, which basically works like clip quantization. By default, it's set to global. You can also set it to any of the other settings here. And global means right now it's set to 1 bar. And so basically it would start the transition only when the next bar starts. You can also turn this off, so that would be like the none setting in the clip quantization. You can decide if there should be a smooth transition over a certain duration that you can set. Otherwise, you can turn this off here as well. And right now it's set to note measures. That's why it says N here. And you can choose anything from an 1/8 note all the way to 32 bars. So you can make really long transitions with that as well. Or you can click on this here and change it to T. And now you can change it from milliseconds to seconds. I'm going to change it back to the note measure settings because I prefer that because it's nicely in sync with everything. And so right now, for example, we could say, oh, let's transition slower within 4 bars. So let's play it back. And by the way, if the rec is not recognized, you could turn it off and on, and usually it should be recognized, but I've never had an issue with that so far. Then if you click here on the question mark, you get additional settings. So here you could basically map or click on the numbers to select the variations. Mapping would be more useful most of the time, or the plus and minus buttons. And you can decide if the buttons should only work when the track is armed or otherwise as well. So right now it would also work if the track wasn't armed. And then here for these 8 possible transitions, right now we only have 5, you could also decide that everyone should be transitioned to in different durations. So I could turn this on and say, okay, so I want this 1 bar, this maybe 2 bars, this maybe only an 1/8 note, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to just click play again. So as you can see, very useful, at least I think so. And this one can be great in music production as well as for live performance. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Until then, bye!